Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded NBA Ranking Show. I am your host, Eric, the big dog in the house. Kenny, how are you tonight?
Doing good, doing good.
Today, actually, it's the morning. We're doing this a little early today
Mhm.
because we wanted to talk some basketball. We're excited about the rankings, what happened. A lot has changed in the last week.
Yes.
Surprised you're still wearing that hat, my friend, just based on what we've seen from the Boston Celtics.
Mm.
There it is. There it is. We are bringing some heat today to
Mm.
Sports Unfolded NBA rankings.
Yeah.
So, Kenny, I'm going to bring up this list. And I mean, I just feel like it's shocking to see what has happened so quickly. But let's discuss here.
Yeah.
At number 5, the New Orleans Pelicans, who were second last week. So they've dropped. They've lost, I think, 3 straight. The Cleveland Cavaliers at 4, the Milwaukee Bucks at 3. The Boston Celtics now move to the 2 spot, which again, there could be some debate on that position. And then the Memphis Grizzlies take over the number 1 spot. I guess before we start breaking down each team, how did you get to these rankings and why is Boston still second in your mind?
Because I did it Monday. Okay. The Celtics should be ashamed of them. You know what? The Celtics should be ashamed of themselves, losing 3 straight, 2 to Orlando, and last night that debacle against Indiana. I,
Yeah, I
if
just
if this list came out today, I wouldn't even put them on the list.
wow. So you'd have them out of the top 5 as
Yeah, I would. After they lost 3 in a row, how do you lose back to Orlando?
right. That was a shocking one because if you look at the fact that you give them the first one, you say okay, but then the second time you lose to them, I think Tatum didn't play in that game.
Yeah,
But again, your second string is probably just as good as Orlando's starting bunch.
thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
so yeah, it's been an interesting ride here. So let's get into this number 5 team, and that's the New Orleans Pelicans. They're 18-12 currently on the season. 12-4 at home, so very good home record. They play very well in New Orleans. 6-8 on the road though, so they some struggles. Again, still a young team, so I think they're trying to figure that out. Averaging 117.3 points per game, giving up 112.5, 6-4 in their last 10. They've got games at home against San Antonio and Indiana, and they're at OKC this week. So there's a good opportunity for this team to continue winning. These are 3 winnable games. Zion Williamson averaging 25.2 points per game, and then very quietly, Brandon Ingram 20.8 points per game. So we look at the having that 2-man tandem. New Orleans is building something here, right, Kenny?
Oh yes, most definitely. They've won 7 straight, but then they lost 3 straight. So this is the time they need to go back on their winning streak. They have the 3rd best bench in the NBA, so their bench is highly productive.
Yeah, it's, again, depth's going to be the difference here. We know some of the injuries that they've had. Brandon Ingram sometimes is another guy that gets injured. We know about the Zion injuries.
Yeah,
And then McCollum. McCollum's missed some time this season. So it'll be interesting to see. I like this team. I think they're
me too.
it's tough though. The West, quietly, I'm telling you that I feel like there's teams that are just not performing that will come around in the West. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, the East is extremely tough. And
Yeah,
if New Orleans can just kind of stay healthy, I think they have a legitimate shot here in the West.
yeah, they do. They do.
All right. What about this number 4 team, my friend? And that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, very quietly, again, another team that wasn't expected to be a top 5 contender. They're
Yeah.
22-11 on the season, 16-2 at home. They actually have a better home record now than the Boston Celtics. And we remember the Celtics hadn't lost a game at home for a bit.
Yeah.
6-9 on the road. So again, another team that needs to figure out how to win in hostile arenas and be able to perform there. But not a highly scoring team, 111 points per game, but they're only giving up 104.5 points. 7-3 in their last 10. They've got games at home against Toronto and Brooklyn. Toronto's played everyone very tough. Brooklyn is coming on, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about that I haven't gotten into yet. But Kenny, no Denver on this list. They're number one in the West at 19-11. I was a little upset about that. But then Brooklyn 20-12, won 7 straight, 9-1 in their last 10, Kenny. That game against Cleveland, to me, puts Brooklyn in if Brooklyn's able to pull this off.
Yeah.
Very quietly in the back as well, Philly. Philly has won 6 straight now and is 18-12, 7-3 in their last 10. They've seemed to figure it out. The East is getting very tough.
Yeah.
It's you're starting to see teams we expected to be there now playing good basketball.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that I would have had New Orleans ahead of Brooklyn on this list. 7 straight, my friend.
Brooklyn's just not there yet. They're just not there yet. Give them a little bit of time. If they win a couple more games, maybe they'll be in there. I don't know, but they're just not there yet. They're just not there yet.
And I'm going to plug this one because I want that New York market to start to get excited about the New York Knicks because they're 18-14, but they're 8-2 in their last 10. And they're starting to play some good basketball, and people are starting to believe. So the Knicks may be on this list at some point, which is crazy. Right?
Yes.
But let's go back to Cleveland here. Darius Garland, 5th in the NBA in assists with 7.8. Donovan Mitchell, 3.9 3-point attempts, 5th in the NBA. So he's chucking the ball up a lot. But I want to talk about the Twin Towers. We've got the new Twin Towers, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, both averaging over 14 points a game, 14.8 and 14 respectively. 9.1 rebounds for Mobley, 10.2 rebounds for Jarrett Allen. The two big men and what they've been able to do. You got Garland back now. This is a scary good team.
Yeah, it is. And their defense is tremendous. And Mitchell is shooting 80% or better. Oh my gosh, this is going to be one of those teams that can really make a run.
I mean, you look at what Donovan Mitchell did in Utah. Like the Utah Jazz, to me, weren't that great of a team. Like when you collectively put it together, it wasn't a holy cow, what a team, what a squad. But his star power and what he's able to do, he reminds me of Dwayne Wade. Like just that guy that could just get a team, rally a team, and make them better. And what he's been able to do in Cleveland, I mean, it's just remarkable. The way they built it as well, right? The LeBron thing and the trades and all these guys, the pieces they were able to bring in. These young kids, I mean, I liked Mobley when he came out of college. I thought that was going to be a good pick, but not what they're able to do. And then they traded for Jarrett Allen. They're to me, one of the top contenders in the East. I mean, as tough as the East is, they're going to have a handful of teams. There's probably 6 or 7 teams right now in the East that could win it. Cleveland's one of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how these Cavaliers continue to mature. And again, if they can figure out how to win on the road, that to me is going to be the key for them. If they can figure that out, 6-9 right now on the road, you got to figure out how to win in hostile arenas because otherwise it's you can only play so many games at home.
Yeah, true.
So many games at home. Now, this team to me should have been higher. The Milwaukee Bucks, they're number 1 in the East now. They've taken over the number 1 spot in the East. They're 22-9. 14-3 at home, 8-6 on the road, 112.9 points per game, giving up 108.9 points per game. But they're 7-3 in their last 10. This tough week, though, at Brooklyn and then at Boston Christmas Day before our next rankings. Who out of the two teams really needs that game more when it comes to Brooklyn and Milwaukee? Is Brooklyn now needing that win to say, look, we are still the best team? Collectively on paper, we believe they were.
Yeah, they do. They need this. Santa got to give them this present. Santa got to give them this present because they need this game. They really need this game.
right? Boston as well.
Boston as well.
Has to at least show that it was just a fluke, a hiccup, shall we say, in the season. I mean, you get a bump in the road at some point. Maybe they're getting it out of the way early, I hope, but it'd be interesting to see. Those are two very good games. We can't discredit what Giannis has been able to do so far. He's third in the NBA in scoring at 31.6 points per game, fifth in rebounds at 11.2. Brook Lopez, we've talked about the defense, is the number one blocks player in the NBA right now at 2.7 blocks per game.
Yeah.
But here's the key, I think, to the Bucks' success right now. Jrue Holiday. He's second on the team in scoring at 18.8 points, but he leads the team in assists at 7.6 and steals at 1.5. He's doing a little bit of everything for them. Is that their 1-2 punch? Could you say Giannis, Jrue Holiday, Middleton still not back to where he needs to be?
Yeah, that's their 1-2 punch. And what's really crazy is Grayson Allen is shooting better than 60%. That's the craziness. So you put him in there, give him minutes, and then it's just unbelievable.
Every team has one of those guys, especially when you get into the finals where you say, look, it's that unsung hero, that guy that can, get you some minutes, make some plays. I think, to your point, Grayson Allen, look, he's not a bad player. He wasn't a bad player coming out of Duke. No. Obviously, he has a bad reputation, and we know his reputation.
Yeah, real feisty.
Sometimes you need a guy like that. You need a guy with a little bit of fire in him to say, look, put me on your back for, 10, 15 minutes a game and watch me, roll. Let me just show you what I can do. And Milwaukee, to me, it's scary to say, I think they're the best team in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
I think they're the best team. I know they're not number one on this list, but I feel like they're the best collective basketball team
right now
this season.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put the graphic up, and I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna have to. At number 2, we got the Boston Celtics. They're 22-10, 11-5 at home, 11-5 on the road, 118 points per game. Still one of the top scoring teams in the league, giving up 112.3, 4-6 in their last 10. Got games against Minnesota, Milwaukee, and Houston, all at home. They need to win 2 of those 3, if not all 3, in my eyes, to legitimately stay on this list. Because if you lose to a team like Houston after losing 2 to Orlando, losing to Indiana, you don't deserve to be a top 5 team.
Nope.
Want to talk about Jason Tatum, right? 5th in the NBA in scoring, 30.6 points per game. Jaylen Brown as the 2 on this team, 26.2 points per game. And I can say there's a lot of times where they rely more on Jaylen Brown to get them out of a slump.
Yep.
He's the guy. I'm going to say Vinnie Johnson, the microwave. Remember when they used to heat him up and he'd just go off for like 15, 20 points just to come back? To me, that's the Jaylen Brown for them. He's that guy that Tatum's going to get his points.
Yep.
It's the NBA. Their star players normally get the calls, get to the free throw line. Or, it's a little less. It's the Jordan rules when it comes to those. Jaylen Brown's the guy, though, that does the dirty work for this Celtics team. Would you not agree?
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. They had 7 bad games shooting 42%. They need to just start going back, get it together, and start blowing out teams because we know they can score. They got a good bench. They got good shooters, but their defense is kind of falling apart.
Yeah. So can we say the coaching change may be a reason for that?
Yeah.
I know we don't want to do it. And Joe Mazzulla's done a very good job.
Right.
22-10, 12 games over 500. So you could sit back and say, okay, the Boston Celtics, he's doing a good job. But there's something missing. There's a small piece. And what that piece is, it may be coaching.
Yeah.
Look, Ime Udoka, that situation, and the fact that he was able to get them to the finals, knows how to win some of those games, knows how to basically pull them back and say, look, it's not just about scoring, because right now that's what they are. They're a scoring. You need defense. You need to be able to stop teams and shut them down, and they're just not doing that. So I don't know. Would you bring Ime Aduka back?
Yes, I would. I would.
Right?
That's you have to. You have to. I mean, this kid is doing a good job, but
At what cost, right? At what point do you say, look, if Brooklyn didn't have the situation with Kyrie, he'd probably be gone already,
yes,
right?
right.
So the fact that he's still here to me is a sign that says, look, if you're about winning a championship now, if you're about trying to put banner number 18 up in the rafters, at some point you have to suck up your pride and say, look, what's best for this team, this
Yes,
organization?
yes,
How do you legitimately look the fans in the face afterwards if they don't get to the finals and win it after being so close last season and say, we made the right choice because we're going to let Ime go anyway? If you're going to build it from scratch, it should have been, he's gone. Here's our new head coach. And then we have no choice but to roll with it. But when you got something sitting out there in limbo, how do you sit back and tell the fans that it's okay not to win a championship because we're proving a point?
exactly.
If it
Exactly.
was a star player, if it was Jason Tatum in this situation, I guarantee he'd be on the court regardless.
Exactly. Exactly. And when they got rid of Ime Udoka, they was trying to get JJ Redick.
Ugh.
And I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't get JJ Redick. Don't get me wrong. He was a good player. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? But I don't think so.
And again, no coaching experience. So it's
No.
but you
No.
made this comparison last show about what Kerr was able to do with Mark Jackson's team. But would you say Steve Kerr, again, under Popovich, he had some tutelage and had some coaching experience, where Joe Mazzulla, I think, coached in Division II college. It was
Yeah.
smaller school and only been an assistant with Boston for what, a year?
Yeah. Only a year.
Right. So
Only a year.
he's very young, inexperienced when it comes to this kind of basketball, because you're talking about a championship caliber team. Now, if he can get them out of this stretch here and they perform well, and look, you win against Minnesota, who you should beat.
Yep.
You beat Houston, who you should beat.
Yep.
You're extremely competitive against Milwaukee. Even if you lose, maybe I can start to say, okay, he's figured out how to get them out of that rut. But if I lose 2 or 3 of these games, you may have to start to question the coaching move.
Yep, exactly.
Very interesting conversation about the Boston.
Exactly.
I didn't expect to have that today, especially after 3 straight losses. I just baffles me. But I mean, it's just so funny to see how a team can fall so quickly sometimes, just starting off so hot. All right, let's move on to the number 1 team. Memphis Grizzlies, 19-11 right now, 13-2 at home. Again, phenomenal. And if you look at all these teams, almost all of them very good at home.
Very good. Yep.
9-8 on the road. So again, over 500, but you need to improve that number. 115.4 points per game, 111.2 points against, 7-3 in their last 10. Got a game at Phoenix, then at Golden State, and then back home for Phoenix. Not an easy road here, other than Golden State, who is completely fallen off the map. I don't know what. Steph Curry getting injured. That wow. You talk about a guy that carries a team.
Yeah.
But what about Ja Morant here? 27 points per game, 7.8 assists, and 1.1 steals per game. Leads them in all 3 of those categories. Steven Adams, 10.2 rebounds per game, doing some work when it comes to the boards. But I wanted to talk about Desmond Bane, who's averaging 24.7 points per game. He's second on the team in scoring. We talk about the 1-2 punch, Tatum in Brown, right? Giannis and Drew Holiday, Garland and Mitchell, Zion and Ingram. Could you put Morant and Bane as probably one of the best 2 combos right now in the NBA?
Yeah, most definitely. Ja can get to the basket anytime he wants, makes it, draws fouls, get to the line. And Bane, he's just a nice shooter. He's a pure shooter and so confident in his shot.
Yeah, so that's the funny thing you said about Ja, right? He can get to the hole. He's a slasher. Think about the excitement when he goes to the rim. I think he's hurt his game a little bit this season because he's trying to shoot the three more,
Yeah.
right? Do what you need to do. Listen, if I'm the Grizzlies coach right now, I'm saying, listen, we want to win a championship. We have an opportunity with you. Do what we need you to do this year. With Bane playing as well as he's playing, let him shoot. You drive to the basket and do that thing for us. That's a championship caliber dynamic that most teams don't have. Why would you want to jeopardize that and say, look, I don't need you to be my 3-point shooter. We have a 3-point shooter. We have a guy that can shoot the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Will that hurt Ja in the long run this season?
Yeah, it will. It will. You know, you live by the 3, you die by the 3. So don't do anything that you're not accustomed to. I mean, one and 2 is good, but 4 or 5? No. No. And the surprising thing is you got Dylan Brooks, who shut down Chris Middleton, and Chris Middleton was 1 for 12. So he's tremendous on defense. That's their defensive leader right there, Dylan Brooks. Great on defense.
So that's what I'm saying, right? We're not asking Ja Morant to play center.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't say, hey, go down there and box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Low. So why be a shooter if you're not a true 3-point shooter? I'm not saying you can't try to develop the game at some point, but this season, to me, after what happened last season, they are a championship caliber team, and the West is so wide open.
Yeah.
Why jeopardize that right now? If you're talking about, there's 2 West teams on here, Memphis and New Orleans. If I was going to say right now, of those 2, which one's going to the championship? You would say
Memphis.
Right? So why jeopardize that?
Yeah.
Why chance that? So to me, I love this team. I think they're exciting. They're young. They play with such intensity, but don't change your game during the season. In the off season, work on your 3-point shot. Say, hey, I'm trying to develop this. Next season, you start doing it. If you win the ring, who cares at that point what you do? I don't care. Hey, you're a champion. But if you lose in the Western Conference Finals because you're throwing up 6-7 shots per game that you probably shouldn't, and you had opportunities to drive to the lane, people are going to look at you and say, why were you playing out of your game?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, excuse me, how that all goes. But let's look that list up one more time before we get into Do You Remember, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the Memphis Grizzlies, as we just said, at the number 1 spot. The Boston Celtics clinging to the 2 spot right now. The Milwaukee Bucks at 3, Cleveland Cavaliers at 4, and the New Orleans Pelicans at 5. Again, to your point, this list came out on Monday. A lot has changed from Monday to today being Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So if I was going to ask you right now, Kenny, re-rank this. And I know for Sports Unfolded NBA ranking show, but re-rank this for Thursday. How would this rankings list look?
Oh, this list would be. Can you put it up again?
Yeah, absolutely, my friend.
Let's see. I would put Cleveland at 5, Pelicans at 4, Boston at 3, Bucks at 2, and Memphis will stay the same at 1.
Right. So a little bit of shifting. I think Boston definitely would have dropped a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I still say Denver or Brooklyn would have been on this list. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. But you are my basketball guru, and you do all things basketball for Sports Unfolded, so we do appreciate that. And who am I to question that? Who am I to question that, my friend? All right, my friend. It is time for Do You Remember? And I know how excited you get about these.
Let's go!
I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm giving you the biggest hint I possibly could. All of these, a little bit of a Boston Celtic reference to them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm ready then.
Starting with number 1.
Mm-hmm.
The Boston Celtics have had numerous top players in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Immense stars that have gone through the Boston Celtics arena. But which Celtic is the all-time leader in points per game? I'm going to blow your mind away with this one.
All-time points, right?
All-time points per game, not point.
Points per game. Points per game. Hmm. Isn't it Paul Pierce?
Paul Pierce. Let's see if you are correct, my friend.
Isn't it Paul Pierce? Isn't it? Hmm.
I will tell you this player averaged 24.7 points per game in 3 seasons with the Boston Celtics, and that would be Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, Isaiah. Really?
Isaiah Thomas, 24.7 points per game all time in 3 seasons with the Boston Celtics.
Wow. I did not realize that. Wow.
I told you I would blow your mind away on this one. IT, bring it back. Come on, Boston. They don't want to ruin that average.
Yeah.
They didn't bring him back, man. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why that makes sense.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, he was pretty exciting. He was pretty good.
Yeah,
He was
love
all right.
that game winning assist up had passed and
Oh yeah.
scored what, almost 50, 40 something points. 40,
Yeah.
I believe.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, my friend. The next one,
All right,
So-
got it.
Bill Walton,
Mhm.
ended his career with the Boston Celtics.
Yep.
Was a great player with the Blazers, won a championship with the Blazers as well. There
Mhm.
was a team in between that Blazers Celtics. Which team was it that Bill Walton played for? So after the Blazers, right? All you remember is him in Boston, correct?
Yeah.
There was a team before that.
Really. Ah,
Okay.
I'm thinking it's a West team. I know it's a West team.
It is a West team.
It didn't come to the East. It was the West team.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Clippers
All right. Let's see if you are correct, my friend.
or San Diego. Was that San Diego at the time? Probably San Diego, but I'm pretty sure it's the Clippers.
Very good, my friend. It was the Clippers.
Mm.
Bill Walton,
Yep.
Blazers, Clippers, then ended his career with the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Very good. Good job. You have a point, my friend. You are on the board.
Yes.
You are on the board. But this next one, my friend,
Mm-hmm.
may be a difficult one because there have been tons of defensive rebounding geniuses in the NBA, right? Just controlled the rock when it came to a defensive rebound.
Mm-hmm.
Who does lead the NBA for the most defensive rebounds all time in NBA history?
Defensive rebounds.
Defensive rebounds.
Wow. Oh, jeez. Defensive rebounds. Oh, there's two people that come to mind. Defensive rebounds, though. Ah. Woo. Oh, jeez.
Oh boy.
That'd be Kevin McHale.
Kevin McHale is your guess. So I will say this: it is a Kevin, and this audio may help you.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Kevin Garnett. There you go.
Garnett, all-time
Yeah.
leader in
Ooh.
NBA history.
Oh, Brooklyn. Oh, God.
I went with this last team. I couldn't, but anything's possible, my friend. Kevin,
Anything's possible.
right? One more time. Let's listen to that again.
Yes.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Oh my, how that felt that year. But
Great.
Kevin Garnett, yes, the all-time leader in NBA defensive rebounds. So all had a Celtics reference there, my friend. I tried.
Wow.
You did get a point. I could give you a half point for a Kevin, I guess. Maybe we'll give you 1.5 today. You split.
Thank
We'll
you.
split.
Thank you.
You got a Kevin.
Thank you.
You got a Kevin.
Thank
This has been NBA Ranking Show for Sports Unfolded. We are normally on every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am joined by Ron, my other co-host, where we cover all of the weekly top sports stories that have gone on and debate everything possible in the sports world. We are on Rhode Island Broadcasting. That is 6 p.m. Friday nights on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Yep.
Check us out. We are Fan Interactive. We love the fans to join. Kenny, I always appreciate all you do for Sports Unfolded.
Thank you for having me.
But we are loving these rankings. I know you will be away next week. I'm not sure if we'll have the list. I may have to, pry it from you. I know you will be on remote, but I will say this: I want you and your family to have a great holiday. I wish you the best and enjoy.
You too.
In your travels. I mean, I think we should see what's up. We got someone to join in here, Michael. Right up my alley, the Connecticut man sharing this show. I love it. Thank you for the support. We are from Connecticut. We love the fact that our local teams are Boston Celtics. You can see in Kenny's background there. But we try to cover all the NBA teams and go through that process. And we talk during the week about the NBA as a ton. But Michael, thank you for joining the show. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Kenny, I will see you next week.
Yes.
Definitely get that list to us. And all we ever ask for in this world is peace.
Peace.